Hey, Sutonia here. I just wanted to show off some Rupture footage I got recently. I've actually had some really nice fights with some decent talking points in the Rupture. The Rupture fit is kind of an old Garmon Style Rupture, with an extra web added. I'll put an EFT fit in the description if you want to see the exact fit. One of the reasons why I like this fit right now is that there's kind of a frigate interceptor meta going on in nullsec. And the double web fit means you can annihilate a lot of scram brawler frigates while still being able to be competitive in cruiser 1v1s. So I land on a gate with 9 interceptors on it, and 2 crows point me and shoot me, and my immediate reaction is that these guys want me to jump to the other side so they can gank me on the other side. But I noticed one of the aggroed crows is actually in scram and web range, so I decided to engage them on this side of the gate. If I chose to jump instead, I would have lowered their DPS output by 2 crows, which 2 out of 10 scepters total, because there was 1 stiletto the other side. Isn't really a lot, and I wouldn't be in as a solid position to get kills, in my opinion. One of the things that's really good about engaging people when they're at 0 on the gate, like this, and you surprise them, is that I'm actually able to get another crow kill because he shoots me and he doesn't move off the gate. If you imagine their comms, they're probably saying that I've aggressed and, they should shoot me, but many people make the mistake of just engaging without moving off the gate first in a kiting ship. Because of this, I'm able to get 3 kills in this 10 versus 1 engagement. Okay, so I get another Rupture, and I jump into a small camp in Providence, which is totally engageable for me. I primary the Sabre first because he has the most damage, and he's going to have a smaller tank than the Hawk and the Harpy most likely. I then switch to the Hawk because it's the closest ship to me, and I'm able to track him really well once I double click in space and move away from him because of the double web. You can see that the Rupture has no problems putting medium AutoCannon DPS onto these frigates. I then switch to the Harpy, which has a medium shield extender, but I still do pretty good DPS to him even with fusion loaded. And at this point I'm trying to think about how I'm going to extract myself from this fight. I don't really have a reliable way to kill the malediction that's orbiting me at range. I can put my warriors on him, but it's probably going to take a long time to kill him. I'm also pretty close to the gate, so I could consider de-aggroing, as the malediction isn't going to be able to do enough damage to me by himself. But unfortunately, 3 caracals warp in, and this spells the end for me, because caracals are attack cruisers, so they are faster than me, and I won't be able to escape from them, and I'm also too low to counter-attack them, or to tank them for long enough to escape. So I get another Rupture, and go back to the same area in Providence where I got that last fight with the Sabre and Assault frigates. And I see a Sci Fleet issue on the gate, so I decided to just engage him at 0. The Sci Fleet issue is an interesting ship. I think a lot of the strengths of the Sci Fleet issue are negated in a direct brawl like this, which is why I decided to engage him, because the Scythe has excellent agility and speed, but that isn't going to come to play here in a brawl on the gate. One of the signs that you can tell your opponent is out of auxiliary shield charges is that their offensive E-War drops on you. So you can see that the Scram Newt drops on me because the SFI is now out of charges and cap. As you can see, the Rupture is really strong in direct brawls like this. So I finished the Scythe off, and then a Pirate Republic Fleet Firetail lands. I double click in space and Microwarpdrive off the gate to improve my tracking as much as possible, and I'm able to track and kill him easily thanks to my dual webs. Okay, so this next fight is a bit strange. The Pirate Republic Fleet Firetail that I killed before convoyed me, and he switched to a Navy Sergeant, and he told me that there's a Tengu with a Sino up on the station. So I go in to try and bump him off the station and to shoot him. I know it's probably a trap. You can see locals at 5 right now, but it just goes up a lot. That's the sort of first sign to say that it's going to be a trap coming. And then a Sabre warps to the station, slow it down now. You see, this is basically where the fight's going to start, because, you know, as soon as a Saber comes to the station and, you know, local's gone up by 4 or 5 people, you know, it's going to be a trap. So then actually what happens is a Crucifier Harpy gets signed in, and an Arbitrator too, and also a Hawk later in the fight gets signed in. So these people are on a Titan bridge. So I shoot the Saber first, because obviously it does the most damage. Unfortunately, this Arbitrator is in like a full newt fit, and he instantly like volleys my capacitor. So I drop my Scram on the Saber, and the Saber's actually able to warp out in structure, which sucks. And then I need to work on this Harpy, but unfortunately the Arbitrator is really annoying here. I've also got tracking disruptors on me from the Arbitrator. But what this slicer does is actually really good for me. The slicer, which I'm not in comms with, I'm not in fleet with him. We just have, you know, sort of a, you know, from the chat you can see we just have like a small agreement just to not to shoot each other. And he actually burns off, and he chases the Crucifier away and kills it. So now that he's got rid of the Crucifier, I only have to worry about one tracking disruptor from the Arbitrator, so I'm able to deal with the Harpy, which is great. And I think the Arbitrator actually caps himself out, as you can see, because the Arbitrator drops his point on me, and he keeps dropping his newts and his tracking disruptor. So I think what happened is the Arbitrator actually ended up capping himself out. And this NOS that you see on me is actually from the Tengu, it's not from the Arbitrator. And then the Hawk comes in and brawls me. Unfortunately, we get pretty close to killing the... So we're pretty close to killing the Arbitrator, but he's tanking a bit. And this tracking disruptor is kind of annoying, but I'm still getting good hits in on the Arbitrator. And the Saber comes back in at this point, but he decides to dock. I think he docks so he can repair his armor, and then he's going to undock again. So we finally finish off this Arbitrator, and need to work on the Hawk, but I'm already in low structure, so I'm going to die here. Unfortunately, the Hawk's the only thing with a point on me, because the Arbitrator's still capped. Oh, so the Arbitrator's dead now, and I go down. And unfortunately, the Imperial Navy Slicer isn't able to finish off the Hawk because the Saber chases him off. But that was a fun fight and a bit of a clusterfuck. So this next fight is with a Vagabond, and I actually tried to engage him the other side, but he was kiting me with a Disruptor. So what I did is I jumped, then I reapproached and jumped back into him. And this is a great way to catch people trying to kite you, because often they'll just sit at 0M on the gate in an attempt to catch you when you jump back in. But this often puts them in or at the edge of heated web range, so you can often get on top of them that way. And if this was actually a kiting, you know, typical double shield extender Vagabond, I think I could have beaten him. But unfortunately for me, it's actually a brawling Vagabond. But the reason why he was kiting me is actually pretty smart on his part, because he has a fall-off bonus and I don't, so he can apply a lot more DPS to me. And unfortunately I'm not able to beat him in the brawl, and actually make the mistake of orbiting him too tightly, which screws up my tracking, but his tracking is still fine because he has lower tier autocannons. So this next fight actually ends up being another complete clusterfuck with a lot of different things happening. So I've noticed that there's a Maulus, Atron and Algus on the gate, so I warp there because that's a pretty decent fight for me. It's not going to be a hard fight for me. I can probably kill the Algus and then probably just run from the Atron and the Maulus. So I noticed that the Algus is going for me here. He's approaching me, so he wants to fight. So I just lock him up and just engage. I think it's kind of weird, and there's actually an Ashimu that lands, and he's at range. So no, I shoot and kill this Algus pretty quickly. You know, destroyers are obviously going to die very fast to this rupture. But this Ashimu is actually pretty weirdly fit, and you'll see when I engage him. He's actually in a max gank fit with 3 heat sinks, 2 tracking enhancers and a damage control, and then he's got a shield tank in the mids. So he doesn't actually have a web, and he doesn't have any newts either. This is a really strange fit, and this fit would actually be, you know, a lot better if he just copied and pasted it onto an Omen Navy issue or some other similar ship, because he's not using the web bonus from the Ashimu, which or the newts, so it's really worthless, to be honest. He might as well be in an Omen Navy issue, but I'm able to get on top of him. The Maulus is damping me, but it's not really annoying to me because I'm still able to brawl. And a Moa actually warps in at this point to the bubble, but he doesn't lock me. And this is really strange to me. The Moa is just approaching me, or he's approaching the gate. And what actually turns out is the Moa has warp core stabs fitted, so he can't actually lock far enough to lock me up, which is really strange. Yeah, I'm able to kill this Ashimu, and my armor's getting pretty low at this point, so I'm thinking about what I'm going to do to escape. I'm kind of worried about this Moa because I'm not really sure what he's doing. He doesn't have a propulsion mod, so I presume that he's in like some super brawler no prop fit or something, but it's actually just a really young player, and sometimes that really catches me by surprise. Anyway, I lock up the Moa anyway because I assume he's going to shoot me, and I have to burn in this direction to get out anyway because it's the only direction where there are Celestials to warp to. Well, there is some like in an angle, but I still have to burn in this direction. So anyway, I noticed the Moa's dying really quickly, but this Atron comes in and tackles me, so I shoot the Atron. Might as well kill it because it's the only thing that has a scram. And the Moa's shooting me now, which is weird. I don't know what's going on. I think he's just generally a new player. And the Maulus is still damping me, but it's no problem. Once I kill this Atron, I'm thinking, you know, I can just leave because don't have any webs on me. The Moa isn't doing any damage. I think the Moa has blasters fitted, Tech 1 blasters or something. And then I see a Stiletto come in, so this is the point where I want to burn away and try and get out, because I don't want to get tackled by a long point Stiletto which is going to hold me down and get something else to kill me. What's strange is that the Stiletto comes in, but he actually goes for the Maulus instead. And I've still got my drones on this this new player in the Moa, and they're doing quite a lot of damage, I noticed. So I noticed, you know, I shot through his shields and he didn't have any shields. And the hits I'm getting on him indicates that he doesn't have any sort of explosive resistances at all. So I presume he doesn't have much tank there. And my drones actually end up finishing off the Moa as a Prophecy warps in, and at that point I decide to warp off. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked this quick Rupture commentary. I don't normally fly cruisers, so I'm a little rusty with them. Some of these fights were a bit strange, and I hope you don't mind me doing my own kind of freestyle commentary on those fights rather than reading from a script. I know there's going to be a lot more ums and arms in them, which, you know, some people do complain about, which I'm sorry for. But more videos coming soon. Later.